Hello, my name is Raphael Shantarai, and this video is intended to show you how to delete an existing database on render.com, as well as delete the same database in Postgre, as you have a connection between the two. And we have a pre-built, it's a pre-existing rebuilt database file stored somewhere in the computer. I used Visual Studio Code. You can have it in your notepad or anywhere, for as long as you can copy and paste the information, right? So what I have here is my render.com. It has an existing database that I named render, and my Postgre has also an existing database connection also named render. And this is the pre-existing rebuild file that I created earlier before making the video. And we're going to destroy the connections that we currently have, beginning from render. You simply have to click on the database, and once the database is made available, you scroll to the very bottom, and then you click the delete database. They want you to type that code into the text box, but I'm just going to copy that and paste it here, and then click delete database. Now, when you have done this, you would have deleted the pre-existing database and you want to create a new database. So while we are still in this dashboard, you just click new and then PostgreSQL, and then you name the database. I'm going to name my database with the name of the course that I'm doing. So it's CSE40 SHW. Well, this is intended to be the same as the database name. Why use the same username and database name? Well, it's easier to remember that way for me. As such, we're going to do that. As you can see, the names are similar. The Postgre version, it's usually we use the latest version available, which is the same one that I'm using. And the main reason why we are creating a rebuild file is in order to make sure that whenever you're cut off and your database is deleted automatically, like in our case, after every 30 days, if it's not a paid package, the database is deleted. Therefore, we are going to select free here, right? And then, well, when that is done, we then create database. Now, because it takes some time, I'm going to pause the video and come back when the database is created. Yes, the database is created. The status should be available once it's done creating. So we'll go to the dashboard. All right, we'll simply go to the dashboard. As you can see now, it exists. So we're going to get into the database, and while I'm still here, I'm just going to copy the external database URL. Okay, so that's copied, that's in my clipboard. And then now we'll go to Postgre. Now, first things to do is to make sure that we remove the pre-existing server, right? So remove server, yes, we've removed the server, right? Now with the server removed, this means that we have deleted everything. The old database is no longer in existence in our Postgre. Therefore, we have to create a new connection, database connection, right? So we're going to register, and we're going to register a new server. So right click, register, then server. And then the connection. Now the connection, we're going to use the external code that we took. We're going to paste it here, and then we remove this last part. And everything else from the @ all the way to the left. Right. With that done, we then go to parameters, and then we change the value here to require, and then we change that to require. Something important that I didn't do that we're supposed to do, at connections here, we're supposed to have the password. The password, we find it in our database right here. So we just copy the password and then we paste it where it says password. And then the name of the database. The name of the database is very important. We say the name of the database is CSE340SHW. Well, the same name to the database is the same name that we're using for the username, right? Well, now that this is all set, we have entered the host address, we have entered the database name, we've entered the password. It's good practice to just say save password. It saves you some time instead of having to copy and paste the password every now and again. The value here is set to require. All right. Right, our username is set. So after all the detail has been pasted there, we now need to give our database a name. This should have been our first step, but we set it the other way around. It still doesn't make a difference, but it's good practice to start from the left to the right. So we're going to give our database a name. This is render, and we're going to keep it like that. It might say render 2 or render 3. Well, simply because I have named all of these render before. The previous one was render. So we're just going to leave it like render, and then we save that. Now, once it's done saving, we expand the database that shows here. And then we go where it says public. And then while we're at public, we right click and then we open the query to. Right. Now, in this query to, this is where our rebuild code will go. So we'll go to VScode and I'll select all the text that I have here. And I will paste it in here. Right. With it pasted, I'm going to adjust the name of the database. The owner is now CSE340. And then after the copying and pasting is done, we're going to execute the script. Right. Now the script has been successfully executed. And how do you taste for this? Well, we're going to refresh the database. You right click and then click refresh. And then you'll find that we now have our tables. Right, it says account, classification, and inventory. These are tables that were created by the rebuild file. So we right click this just to confirm and view edit data, and then we select all rows. You will find that it will execute and it will give us some output that will show us the contents of the database, like so. Right, you find all these names and last names are contents of the inventory table. And well, that is how you do it. Just to recap, we began at render.com, deleting a pre-existing one and then creating a replacement, naming the database and the username in the same way, Well, our source has to remain at the 0.000. That has to be the address, the PI, and then the IP. And then in Postgre, well, we use the tables to test whether what we would have done would be accurate. We create a new connection and give it a name, render, and we used our rebuild file to do everything. Well, happy coding, guys. Thank you.